Hello everyone and welcome to Hollow Drift. It is the second BUCS Super Rugby semi-final. Exeter await the victor. The final is April the 13th at Six Ways. The second semi-finalists will be in purple. Will it be the Palatinate of Durham or the African Violet of Loughborough students? Durham, of course, the league champions, but despite that success, have never found themselves in a semi-final before. Loughborough, likewise, are just one victory away from a final spot, despite missing out on the playoffs altogether just 2 seasons ago. The conditions, well, they're all over the place. It's dry at the moment, but we've had rain, we've had snow, we've had winds, but it's all coming together for a brilliant semi-final. We've got a great show coming up for you. We've got exclusives with Scott Snedden and Alex Key. We've got Tamara Taylor joining us on co-coms. But to whet the appetite, let's take a journey south to the sunshine where Exeter overcame Cardiff Met in the first semi-final earlier today.
This is the area that Exeter like to be in. Oh, so close. He was across the line but couldn't wrestle the ball to the floor, but that time it's there! Exeter draw first blood in this BUCS Super Rugby semi-final. Long, wild pass, and Bond's going to put his foot down and coast across for try number 2. Does starts get much better than this in a semi? Fantastic start for Exeter. They do well to recycle. They do have some numbers, and Lloyd Seed steps his way through the defence and offload to Yarnell, who hurdles the would-be tackler and makes it 3 for the green and white Hoops home heroes. Exeter are romping this first half. The Cardiff Met shackled in their half for much of the game, but Will Rigg, who's been on fire all season, gets Cardiff Met's campaign back on track. And a penalty try to open the second half, just the start that the Welshman wanted. And this semi-final's alive.
It's the beauty of rugby, isn't it? We flew out the blocks, 19-0 up at the first 20 minutes. They clawed it back in, and it's the same for the start of the semi-half. But yeah, credit to the boys, dug deep and found the win.
So you were right in the mixer there. You're at the base of every ruck. You were the beating heart of the Exeter performance. That's why you're our player of the match. What was it like for you there with those wild momentum swings?
Well, we don't talk about jackling as a team, but I don't know whether it's just like the little rat that I am at the breakdown. I just love going for them. I love being involved with the forwards. So you just put your body on the line whenever you can and hope the rest of the team does it.
But how did it feel there when Cardiff Met came back the first time? And I think that probably the key try was that charge down when Exeter reduced to 13 men. What were you guys talking about in the heat of it all there?
Well, you've got some great leaders that step up and say, do your job really well. And AT, third year, been great this year, steps up and does his job really well. Pressure on the 9. Turns it over and gets the try. You look to those big players in those big moments and he performed there.
There is a missing piece of the puzzle, and that missing piece is going to be decided up north at Hollow Drift with the league champions Durham taking on Loughborough. Dave Rogers is going to be there. If that hasn't got it nailed on into your calendar, then I don't know what will. You're watching the best league in the land, BUCS Super Rugby, the final at Six Ways. Exeter are there. Who's going to meet them? Durham or Loughborough? Only one way to find out. See you on the stream later.
Joining us on co-coms, it is my great pleasure to have by my side 115 cap international Tamara Taylor. 115, correct?
That's correct. Well done. Well remembered.
Well, you told me literally moments
5 seconds ago.
Yeah. Great to have you here. Look, you've played in some massive occasions for some great teams, but for these lads out there today, this is about as big as it gets, isn't it? To wear your university jersey on a scale like this, pretty massive.
It's massive, and for some of them it'd be the last game that they play in that jersey as well. So I know we spoke about this last time, but it doesn't get very much more emotional than that. Knockout rugby might be your last game. Boys that you've been with for basically the whole of your university career. Yeah, it's going to be definitely emotions running high for both teams.
Kind of hits me in the heart when you say that, and you know, I think anybody listening, it'll take them back to the last time they'll have played for their club or school or university or international side in your case. But let's bring it to the present, and it is a cup semi-final. You've played in them. You've played in league games, cup games. How are these knockout games different?
Usually they're not that pretty, so everything that you've worked on all season, as soon as it turns into knockout, and actually it's really important that you just win, you have to find a way to win, and I know these guys are going to revert back to what they've been good at around the set piece, but you'll get to a point where two teams will cancel each other out. So it's going to be who finds the way through, literally through probably in some of the cases, but yeah, who can just find a way to either get the score through the post in terms of penalties, if there's any indiscipline, or just get over the line.
Do you think consistency is key? Because when you look at Durham's side, they've hardly made any changes throughout the season. The centre partnership know each other, the second row, the front row, the back three, they're so used to each other, and of course they've turned this place into a fortress. Loughborough have played well, but they've tried different combinations. When you get to a high-octane game, when you get to those sort of moments of extra stress, how much difference can it make to really trust the player to the right and to the left of you?
I do think it makes a massive difference if you know who you're playing alongside, you know when they're going to offload, you know what line they're going to take, you know what support line you can take off them. That will make a difference. The thing that might be a negative on it is how tired are they? I know they've played a lot of minutes in those combinations. I'm sure that they won't make any difference today because it's a big game. But yeah, I think it'll be on the plus side for Durham that they've got those combinations. They know how each other play. And Loughborough, they've got new combinations across the back row again. I know they've made a few changes in the backs as well. So it's going to be finding your feet in that first 20 minutes, remembering, you know, where people are going. They won't have had that much time to practice together as their little mini units within the team. So that might be a telling factor today.
What about the conditions? Because it's the second semi-final today, and I watched Exeter versus Cardiff Met, and there were some people there in shorts and t-shirt. We're definitely not in shorts and t-shirt. The snow is just about held off, but 1 minute it's sunny, then it's cloudy, then it's snowing, then it's not, now it's breezy. It's inconsistent. I mean, it just adds to the melting pot, doesn't it? But it's nearly April. It's freezing. These aren't easy conditions to play in.
And it was boiling about 3 days ago. Honestly, it was shorts and t-shirts weather up here. Again, Durham will have that home advantage.
Yeah.
They have made this place a fortress. The wind will come across in a certain direction and they'll be used to it. So they'll have that over Loughborough in terms of knowing what the conditions can do here. I watched the women's semi-final here and it was terrible conditions, much worse than this. So I'm hoping that the rain and the snow and the hail holds off so we can get a good, decent game of rugby.
Well, the bad news is our commentary position is outside. The good news is we've got to walk through the warm building to get there.
Lovely,
so we are going to head upstairs and get in position, ready for kickoff, and we'll leave you with this from Alex Key. 10 games, 10 wins here this season. One more and you're in the final. I know you like to keep these players grounded, but that's got to be in the back of their minds going into this one.
Well, there's quite a few boys leaving, so, you know, this is their last game in Durham, so it's going to mean a lot to them, I would have thought. So,
what about last week then? That must have meant a lot too, because Leeds Beckett, 8th in the league, that could have looked like an easy victory, but they made life pretty difficult for you.
They came full metal jacket, they looked pretty decent. If they'd played like that all year, they'd have been top 4. They were tough to beat, and they played very well.
Just the one change, Fred Davis, he gets a lot of headlines, but there are 14 other boys who've really worked hard for you this season. It's not just about him, it's about the full team, but maybe aside from Pat Bishop, who's still on the mend, this is full metal jacket for you, isn't it?
Well, we one or two still that probably might have got in there, but I think we've been lucky in the sense we've been able to work around about 28, 30 players pretty much who've played. So I think there's a lot of trust in anyone who does come in. You know, Jacob came in for Fred last week, was absolutely outstanding, and I'd have no hesitation with him coming on the pitch. So we don't have any worries about that. But obviously, at the end of the day, Fred's a different. You know, he's a hell of a gravy he is, and he can play. So it's great to have him back. It was nice to see the boys as well. The leadership group managed without him last week, but he does make such a difference when he's there.
Does anything change between the league and the playoffs? Because Exeter ran you really close and you had to continue winning, not just 4-point, but 5-point wins as well. You lifted the trophy. I'm led to believe there were some celebrations of some description, but now you've got to go again. 3 more games and another trophy. 1 down, 2 to go. How's that changed the dynamic?
I think probably this year more than any year than the year before when we won it felt like a knockout because Exeter were on our shirt tails. They were a hell of a good side, you know, and so Cardiff Met. So, you know, there were a lot of good sides in here. Loughborough, a very good side, and it just feels like every single game we had to win it. And it was even worse. We had to win it with 5 points every week. You get 5 and still couldn't shake them off. And it just felt like, oh God, this is like 8 knockouts. So when it finally came to a conclusion, I think everyone was kind of pretty much deep exhale of breath, and we've done it. So this is just another competition, and I kind of sometimes you have to keep this in perspective. We want to win it, we want to do well, but it's a knockout now. This is not the league, this is not for who are the champions of England or University Rugby. We've done that. We've got to now say, well, this is a chance in a knockout of another win and another competition you want to, and a bit like the FA Cup, if that makes sense. So, and we want to win it.
But it is a semi-final, and it's Durham versus Loughborough, two giants of the student game for decades, and neither of you have been in a final for a long time. What would it mean for you to get to Worcester in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, it's like I said to you before, you know, the league's done, we're champions, so we take that. Now we're on another competition, and we don't go in any competition and not want to win it. But we respect Loughborough. They'll be a tough opposition. They've been tough through the year. They're much improved this year, I think, and they're really well coached. So, and they've got some good players, so it's going to be a really tough battle. But it's another competition, and that's the way we try to treat every game as it goes.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
You are a minimum of 1, maximum of 2 games away from ending your first season in charge of Loughborough in the BUCS Super Rugby programme. How would you sum it up? Firstly, as a league. Secondly, as your team's performance this season?
Brilliant league. Unbelievable in terms of BSR, the quality of rugby, the technical, tactical, the physical side of things. So it's just growing. I knew that it was big coming into the role, but actually I've been really impressed by the whole infrastructure of all the universities, the quality of the rugby that's been played. I guess my first year, I'd sum it up. We've done all right. I was confident coming in that the guys previously, in terms of the programme was in a good place, so it was me just building on some of the foundations already in there and a few changes to get where we are now.
Everything changes pretty quickly in this league, and the quarterfinals last time out, a lot of people had their eye on Loughborough versus Swansea because you'd had a couple of unfavourable results. They were in superb form, and you went and put 40 points on them. That's a cracking performance. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, good question. We talked in a lead up to the week about being clinical and being disciplined. I thought it was the most disciplined game that we'd had all year, and we talked about making sure that we didn't leave Swansea in the game. So our discipline gave us the opportunity to pull away, and we were clinical. So we took our opportunities, and boys were consistent in what we did.
Is that the same message today?
Yeah, very much so. We know that Durham are a strong quality side, obviously league champions. They've got a strong set piece. They're well drilled, so the message from us is if we stay patient or we stay disciplined, we'll get some opportunities.
Durham have got a very consistent 23. Just the one change between the semi-final and the final, and week after week. The quarter-final and the semi-final, and week after week, they put out very similar-looking teams. You've made a lot of changes throughout the season. Today's no different. How do you think they'll affect the dynamic of your side?
We've lost a couple of players through injury from last week, but I don't think it weakens us. I'm confident that we got the squad going into the game to get a result. So Callum Smith comes in at prop, and Dan Eckersley comes in the back row, and those guys, when they've played in the last few weeks, have really performed. And they maybe missed out on a starting spot the last couple of weeks. So today they get their opportunity. So I'm confident that we can, if we stay disciplined, we'll be in a good way.
And what's a good Wednesday look like for you if we have a conversation at 9 o'clock?
Good Wednesday will be obviously getting the result. The boys have worked hard for each other. So it'll be leaving here hopefully on the road to Worcester.
Good luck.
All right, cheers.
Well, that was Loughborough's performance of the season, but coming here to Hollow Drift is a completely different gravy. Let's take a look at how the home team, the league champions, line up in the semi-final this evening. They welcome back the captain, Fred Davis. He was rested last week. It was his first time out of the squad all season. Consistency has been the key for Alex this year, and today is no different, as that's the only change to the 15 who overcame Leeds Beckett here a week ago. In the back line, William Nicholson continues at outside half, impressing in the absence of Pat Bishop, who's still recovering from the head injury sustained against Cardiff in round 16. As for Loughborough, they've had to make a few changes with injury and the player pool that they've got. Carl Smith and Jack Roundtree come into the front row for Bryn Davis and Jack Burtonet. Dan Eckersley gets his first start of the season on the open side flank, with Teddy Leatherbarrow unavailable due to injury. Make sure you stay with us at half-time, though, because we had a great chat to Teddy. He's been a great leader for this Loughborough side, although it'll be leading from the sidelines instead of on the pitch here this evening. As for the replacements, Durham have got Jacob Head in the 16 jersey. He impressed when he stepped in for Fred Davis last week. Club chairman Rhys Belcher offers plenty of ballast in the second row as well, as does the impressive Alex Waddell for Loughborough students, and England under-20 and Saracen, who we expect to make an appearance in the second half. So we're counting down to kick-off tomorrow, and it's all a little bit clear at the moment. The floodlights are on, but whilst we were going through all those interviews, sights and sounds at the beginning, we had what could only be described as a 5-minute blizzard. I was expecting Santa and the reindeers to come over the grandstand.
It was very Christmassy, wasn't it? I'm glad we were under shelter, because that was pretty savage.
Well, wherever you're watching around the world, a very warm welcome. Great to have you here. It does feel special, this. It's eerily quiet, given how busy Harding Hill usually is. It's out of term time here, but a few supporters have made the journey up. We've got some selective headwear, some more practical than others. Not surprised they've got the beanies on, because it is a little bit chilly. But It feels authentic, doesn't it? It's all about the players this evening, and they are one win away from a final. The biggest final, the biggest game that some of them will ever play in.
Don't you making me nervous? Yeah, we spoke about it before, didn't we? Knockout rugby is exciting, it's stressful, but it's one of a kind. And if you can get yourself to a semi, you got to keep your eyes on that before you can think about the final. So, as exciting as it is, and we know what the other result was already, it's all for this 80 minutes now.
But also, success brings its own kind of nervous energy as well, doesn't it? Because we've made plenty of it already. 10 wins in 10 matches at home here for Durham, which means you're only one game closer to the next defeat.
I know, we had that at Sarries actually. Last season we hadn't lost at home in however long, and then we lost, and it's one of those things that you try not to think about, and I'm sure the boys will have that, couldn't have that further from their minds tonight. You try and make something a fortress so that anyone who comes here, it's a negative for them and it's a massive positive for you. So, I do think that'll be a little bit of a difference tonight as well.
What about Loughborough then? Massively improved. A couple of seasons ago they finished 9th in this league. It was 6th the year before, 6th last year. They haven't been anywhere near a semi-final, but here they are, one win away from a shot at the big time. They've got everything to play for tonight.
Yeah, and that also makes it exciting because they've got nothing to lose. It's actually Durham who are up there with the target on their backs tonight.
Well, the tunnel expands in size as Loughborough students make their way out in these white jerseys with the black numbers on the back. They've never got to a final in the BUCS Super Rugby era. Resurgent under Scott Snedden. They've got the opportunity to do it tonight. But here come the league champions, led out by the captain, Fred Davis. So much of the responsibility of this team supposedly falls on his shoulders, but there's so much experience as well. Joining him in the 12 jersey, Sol Hyde, who impressed as a fresher, but now in his final year can play a key part in the midfield. That midfield alongside Ollie Walker. But first, we're going to take a moment to remember. We had a tragic loss in the rugby community, and we've had a message from the UE Women's Rugby Club. Today and always, we'd like to celebrate the life of Maddie Twinkle Toes Lawrence, who sadly left us too soon on the 25th of March. Maddie exemplified what it meant to be a UWE women's rugby player, tackling every new skill with enthusiasm. She proudly represented the club, both on and off the pitch, growing into the sport and the rugby family. Maddie was bubbly and so much fun to be around, and whenever she smiled and laughed, you couldn't help but smile and laugh with her. That was the sort of player, friend, sister and daughter Maddie was. Her everlasting energy has left its mark on the club, and she'll forever be our winger and forever be our friend. She'd wish for you all to play to your best and enjoy today. Her love for our great sport will live through us, her teammates, and all of you today who celebrate her. And they'll be retiring the number 11 shirt in Maddie's honour and remembrance. And with that mark of respect, the players make their way out onto the pitch. Durham in the famous Palatinate jerseys will be kicking off in the first half. William Nicholson at the outside half, attacking the try line away to your left. Loughborough in their changed white jerseys that, given the punishment this turf has taken, I can't imagine will be staying that white for long.
No, definitely not. It's strange seeing them in white actually. You've got to get your eyes used to it.
Tim Allett is the man in the middle in the pink jersey with the white sleeves. 6 ways awaits one of these teams. The BUCS Super Rugby Championship final for the winner. And Loughborough receive the first kickoff, and that is a good solid take up overhead as well. It was David Douglas Bridge who got his hands on the ball. Played for Leicester Tigers in the Prem Cup earlier this season as Tom Miles box kicks that one. That's a good take by Braden Barrett. Loughborough putting a big shot on as well. Then a little snipe up the blind side. Lovely snipe as well by Harry Craven. Gets over the first tackle. And then the cavalry arrive. It's Jonas adding his weight to it as well. First carry for Fred Davis back in the starting 15. Now Marinhouse, the experienced second rower. Very noticeable in that now faded scrum cap that used to be the orange of the Netherlands. Joe Murphy, his second row partner. 13th time those two have packed down next to each other this season. Experience is everything. Second carry there for Fred Davis, and he tastes some Loughborough shoulder. A great shot in midfield as Nicholson shifts it on. Another carry for House as well. Loughborough building this white wall early on. Durham go the narrow side. That's Ollie Walker. Losing metres here, Durham, but holding on to the ball. Going through the phases patiently. Another carry for Davis. He gets his leg lifted in the tackle. Now Craven. Crossfield by Nicholson. On the 22, the mark called. Slightly overcooked on the kick. 90 seconds of possession there for Durham. They're finding gain line hard to come by, and you'd probably expect that from a hungry defensive side in the early phases of the semi-final.
Definitely. To be honest, if Durham could have got quick ball there was a couple of opportunities out wide and back on that blind side.
So Jonas is underneath it. It's sent back by Nicholson, sent high as well. No mark available for this one. A little bit of footwork and a good tackle there by Joe Murphy on Reece Malone. Expect Malone to be in as a second ball player today. He's played a lot of rugby at 15, but started 4 games at fly half in the absence of Charlie Titcombe. There's Tom Miles box kicking. Worcester Warriors 9. Craven's underneath that. Good take by the scrum half. And he's wrapped up on the halfway line. 2.5 minutes gone. No real incident in this game so far. It's Henry Higginson wearing 7. And now Monty Royston. And now out the back to Jonas, who puts it on one more pass. Braden Barrett. Another big shot. And Sanders is over the ball. Sanders thinks he's turned it over. Referee disagrees. And it goes out for a line out on the near side.
There's been a lot of nothing so far, hasn't there? It's just stayed around the halfway line. You know, we said this again before the game. They're going to cancel each other out to a certain extent. Loughborough have tackled well. They've double tackled. They've slowed the ball down at the breakdown, made it difficult for Durham to actually create any attacking opportunities.
It's going to be hard work on this heavy surface to keep carrying and tackling like this, though, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, you can have all the energy you like in the first 5 minutes, but it's got to carry on for another 75.
There's David Douglas Bridge, and that's been... well, knocked into space, and there's a foot race here. Nicholson does well. And Durham back in their own 22. Marinhouse. Another good tackle. This time it's Cal Smith in for Bryn Davis today, the loose head prop. Joe Murphy adds the extra caterpillar, and Craven is going to put that one straight off the park. Good clearance kick into the Loughborough dugout. People who regularly have watched BUCS Super Rugby over the years might recognise a familiar face in that Loughborough dugout. James Gallagher, he's former tight head prop from 3-4 seasons ago now, who's back in full-time employment as the team manager. Loughborough go to the back, clean ball off the top. That was Tobias Monday. And now sending Bridge forward. Loughborough going up the short side. Oh, there could have been a 2-on-1 there, you know. It was Monty Royston made a good tackle. That could have called William Nicholson into defensive duty. Now it's Durham's turn to defend. Slow ball for Loughborough. So they go aerial. Could be a challenge for this as well. And there is. Great chase. Ben Fitzgerald, the left winger, coming in, putting Jonas under pressure. And Durham on their own 22 again. Joe Murphy. No Ewan Murphy in the side today for Durham. He played for Sale Sharks in the Prem Cup against Harlequins yesterday. Long way to go to win, but he's here supporting his teammates tonight. Now Loughborough on the counter, the tackle by Braden Barrett. Quite a diminutive figure in the back row, Barrett, but punches above his weight. Another kick for Jonas to try and get onto. It's an awkward bounce, but Jonas does well, and Eckersley misses the tackle. Nick Jonas up over halfway. Good carry by the Durham 9, now Sol high, passes it on one more time.
Loughborough have just, you'd arguably say, kicked possession away, but each of the kicks they've ended up getting it back, either through a line out or there on the turnover at the breakdown. So yeah, normally I'd say you're kicking it away, what are you doing?
They have kicked it away there.
I think it landed on the line, didn't it? No.
That seemed to...
It did look like it hit the line.
Well, it bent like a banana. It looked like it was going into touch, and then it just skidded on from the surface.
We've got TMO. We've got TMO on that.
Oh, that is a huge opportunity missed by Loughborough, being a little bit greedy.
It's right when I was saying about them kicking it away. That's why I've jinxed them.
But that was their first opportunity to really fire a shot. Gone. 6 minutes gone. It's been what could loosely be described as a midfield battle so far.
Definitely, yeah. Probably a lot more kicks than we thought there'd be in that first 5 or 6 minutes. Clearly a tactic from Loughborough to try and get the ball back, to force Durham back to get the kick.
Well, this is our first look at the set scrum. Smith and Roundtree into the front row for Loughborough. It's the settled front row of Royston, Davis and Woodward for Durham. 11th time they've packed down as a 3 this season, and as I mentioned before, the 13th time that House and Murphy have been in behind them. And it yields immediately for Loughborough.
Yeah, massive turnaround from a penalty that would have got Loughborough right on the 5 metre line to now Durham potentially getting themselves down into definitely deep into the Loughborough half.
Well, Nicholson makes no mistake, wasn't as greedy as Titcombe before him.
I always think that's hard as a kicker, isn't it? All the pressure's on you to get as much territory as you can, but if you push it too far...
Well, just kick it into touch.
I know, I'm one of those forwards that stood there going, just make touch.
Yeah, although, you know, you'd rather be taking a line out 20 metres out than 30 metres out. Alas, we are where we are, and it is Durham with this maul that's been so effective this season, and they're marching in to the Loughborough 22 here. It's a little bit scrappy, going one way then the other, and it's penalty advantage here for Durham. So they're going to keep it in for as long as they can. Keep your eye on Fred Davis at the back. His remarkable try-scoring record. BUCS Super Rugby's all-time leading try-scorer. And they're still moving this same maul, Durham, with the penalty advantage as well. Now it goes to ground. And it is a Durham penalty. I'll ask you this before every penalty. And let's see if... Oh, in fact, they've gone quickly here through Harry Craven. I was going to say, would you go for the corner or would you go for the scrum? But instead, Durham have gone quickly, and they are as close to the Loughborough try line as they have been in the match so far. The pick and the go is very close. Plenty of bodies there. Referee says short. So they will go again. Alarm bells ringing here for Loughborough in defence. Oh, they pick up the blind side. There's a reach for the line. It's short once more. Durham looking for the first points, the first try of the match. Oh, still short. Now Harry Craven calls in some more big bodies to batter the Loughborough line. Jack Reed offering himself, and Monty Royston, good tackle on Royston. Now they're going to put a little bit of width on it. Are they? Sol Hyde drives for the line. Craven goes wide again. There's Davis. Wriggles and rolls and reaches. And he's short. Craven out one more time. Joe Murphy. Loughborough crying out for bodies to defend their left-hand side. Oh, Marin House is the latest to be stopped short. Now another pick, another go. It's been dropped backwards, says the referee. So Durham can go again. Great discipline here by the Palatinate. Now Murphy. 3 Loughborough bodies there to hold him up. Charlie Titcomb's one of them. It was his missed touch that got Durham into this spot to begin with. Jack Hill driven over and scores. Ollie Walker in behind him. Marin House in behind him. But Jack Hill gets the first 5-pointer in the semi-final.
That was telling that you actually need your support, because most of those ball carries, well, especially when they're coming off Craven off 9 there, was a single runner on his own, isolated, and got 2 big Loughborough boys straight into him. But that last carry there by Jack, exactly as you said, driven forward, 2 bodies against 1, always going to be stronger. It was actually 3 in the end. Yeah, really good try. That is hard work. You can never underestimate how tiring that is for both teams, picking and going and defending those pick and goes.
So easy to make mistakes when you're the attacking team as well, isn't it? To lose patience. But they maintain their discipline. And that is the difference, isn't it? Loughborough missed touch with a penalty. And a couple of minutes later, they're defending their own line for 2 or 3 minutes. They're 5 points behind with a kick to make it 7. Extras added. Durham 7, Loughborough 0.
Yeah, Loughborough will be disappointed, I think, with that turn of affairs from being right down in attack, and they defended hard for a large period of time. They were on their own line. But once you get momentum in behind 2 or 3 people on a ball carry, it's very difficult to stop.
Well, 12 minutes gone. 1 converted score in it. Loughborough chasing. Oh, what a take that is, straight from the restart. Ben Fitzgerald. And Loughborough on the front foot. Marin House makes a big tackle in midfield. Very, very physical. Oh, what a shot that is by Sol Hyde as well. Goodness me. But Loughborough throwing the dummy there. It's Charlie Titcombe. Very exciting. Outside half in white today, thinking about the inside ball, but then trying to sell Sanders on the outside. Good handoff by Sanders, and Jonas thinks about going for it, but backs off in the end. Oh, has that been ripped there by Jack Hill? Yes, it has. The try scorer turning up in defence as well as attack. And again, Craven is going to put this straight off the park, taking no chances. That'll allow Durham's defence to reset. What a take by Fitzgerald on the restart.
I was just going to say, that was absolutely picture perfect, wasn't it? I think he shocked himself that he was in a little bit of space to a bit of a gap. Just a shame on the turnover there for Loughborough, because they actually kept the ball quite nicely, moved it, spread out the Durham defence there. But yeah, great rip there.
Well, Nathan Langdon is one of the players, the Loughborough hooker, who was involved last time Loughborough won here back in 2019. He came off the bench that day. He's got the starting 2 jersey today. Really good line speed there from Durham. It was Braden Barrett making a tackle in midfield. Oh, now a missed tackle. Rare miss from Marin House, but what about the scrum half, Harry Craven? Putting the shots in midfield. Monty Royston. Now Marin House. Is there crossing there in midfield? No referee happy enough to let play continue. Attempted a pick and go there from Eckersley, but no room at the inn. And Loughborough attacking the shoulders. Eckersley. Penalty. Now, what's the choice here? Posts, corner, scrum? What are you thinking?
Just make touch is what I'm thinking. He's gone for post. He's gone for post. To be fair, they got 2 very good kickers at Loughborough with high percentage in terms of their success rate this season. So that is, very kickable, and that just ticks the scoreboard over, which is what you need in a game like this.
Charlie Titcombe, second highest scorer in BUCS Super Rugby this season, behind Brad Roderick Evans. He's managed 155 points. 145 of those coming off the boot. Bang in front of the sticks here. Just the other side of the 10-metre line, so this far from a given. but the chance for Loughborough to get some points on the board. Which he does. Loughborough off the mark. Durham 7, Loughborough 3.
That was definitely driven over as well by the travelling supporters over in the shed on the far side of the pitch. They brought drums. I think their voices carried that over as well. Decent kick, really decent kick.
Yeah, very good strike. The pitch does look in reasonable condition, but there are a few signs of wear. A mix of the conditions and heavy collisions. That's a good take from the restart. David Douglas Bridge underneath it. Wearing number 4 for Loughborough students today. Although I think later in the game, identifying the numbers as these shirts get plastered more and more in mud is going to have its own challenges. So Nick Jonas is under this one. He's got Max Pepper in the red scrum cap to his right hand side, and he's going to carry it to Will Sanders, who's another turnover penalty. David Douglas Bridge doing the business this time now. Posts again?
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you? It's almost the same position, just a couple of metres further out wide from the last kick, so you'd say odds on to get that. That was a big collision, running into 2 people set and ready to tackle you, and then good discipline to, second player in there to release him on the ground to make sure that it's not a penalty against for not releasing the ball carrier.
Well, distance-wise, this almost identical, just as you said, a few metres away to the right. And at least temporarily, there's hardly a cloud in the sky, there's no wind, there's no snow, and kicking conditions are just about perfect.
I feel like I can't talk. I feel like I've got to keep the silence during the kick.
Respect the kicker at all times. Decent strike again.
Oh, that one looked like it was sitting up and it wasn't going to go through.
Yeah, just looked like it died, didn't it?
Yeah, even the travelling supporters weren't sure what to do about that.
But that is 2 penalty goals in 2 minutes as the travelling support find their voice, they find their drum. Oh, and they're all huddling together for warmth like penguins, aren't they? As William Nicholson gets us underway, and it's another good take from the restart. Good response to conceding the try for Loughborough. 2 penalties kicked, and again they keep the box kick in field. Jonas underneath it, gets past the first and the second tacklers. Jonas then runs into trouble in the middle of the park. Titcombe can't make the tackle, so then Nicholson can spread it to the left. Oh, just a loose pass there, and it's poked into the 22. Now a foot race back that Brown's the favourite, and he is dangerous running at broken play, Brown. But they make a good tackle on him in the 22, and then Sanders comes raining in as well. Now Craven has been kicking these off the park. I wonder if he'll keep the same tactics. Yes, he does. Nice clean exit.
Yeah, that was a good chase as well there by Ben Fitzgerald to make the tackle. He's gone sideways, to be fair there. Paul Brown looking for a little bit of space. Maybe could have given that pass on the outside of him. Always thinking of risk versus reward when you're in your 22. But a really good chase down because he's a quick boy.
And as we've seen on a number of occasions this season, he's got the pace to make a line break stick. If you miss a tackle on Paul Brown, you're in trouble. Now the Loughborough line out creaks for the first time. That's a top spinner there on the box kick. Oh, it's a beauty. In fact, Sanders has done well to prevent a 50-22 there, and Loughborough sliced the ball clear. Yeah, top spinning box kick, and a big fan of that.
That was nice. Can you do that yourself? Is that one
Absolutely not.
One of your strengths?
Although every now and then I've got a wicked spiral bomb, but it's more by luck than judgment. How about you?
Anyone. They'll never know. Yeah, kicking's definitely my forte, especially in these
walking
boots. I was going to say,
not in those boots. Now, Fred Davis with a line out on the 22. Does the first part right. Now watch him tuck in here, although they've been told once here, Durham, so it's going to have to keep on moving. Well, Craven is going to have to dig for it. Now the referee's put his hand up for the second time there, so I think he's told them once, twice. Either way, Craven finds Walker. Walker tries to go around the outside. Dan Martin makes the tackle, and Solheid secures the ball. Craven. That's Pepper off his wing, and now Jonas thinks about the kick, but that cannons off a boot, and again Durham find themselves having a chase back in their own half, and it is a good chase back by Nicholson. Loughborough thought they'd pinched that, but it is with Jack Hill, scorer of the only try of the match so far. Craven sets for the box. I think the forwards might fancy another carry. Fred Davis is with his arms out saying he wants it. Instead they keep the box kick on the pitch this time. Oh, now Loughborough looking for holes, and there was a slip there by Solheid. Did well to make half a tackle in the end as Loughborough put up another contestable kick. That's another good chase. Paul Brown's in there trying to secure the ball, and Brown does well actually. Then it comes out of the back, and Craven finds Davis, who bumps the man off. Good carry by Fred Davis. They've done well to protect Craven. Puts another box kick up. Ball's been in play a long time now. There are going to be some boys with some pretty warm lungs out there, I think.
Definitely, and a lot of kick chases for both teams.
So Jonas, that's not a great kick. Right down the throat of Sanders, who steps off one powerful carry. Then Craven comes in with another shoulder. He's not scared of a tackle in the middle of the park as the scrum half.
He's not. Good tackler, and always going for the jackal, looking like he's going to get his hands on the ball on one of these attempts.
Well, he'd say low centre of gravity to be kind, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
For the scrum half.
Yeah.
But now Loughborough on the attack, and Langston moves it out. But Paul Brown's waiting with open arms to make the tackle. Oh, short line there. And Durham pounce on the ball. Again, physical shots in midfield, massive collisions. And now Nicholson putting some width on it. Ollie Walker and Max Pepper trying to put Jonas on the outside, but Loughborough drift well. Tobias Monday out there, the second rower, defending wide. And Davis, Nicholson, Joe Murphy. Now Nicholson again, could be a little bit of room here for Walker, but again Loughborough just spreading themselves very well in defence. But at some point they're going to have to be stretched, surely. Barrett, 24 minutes gone. It's been a real arm wrestle this game so far. Now Hyde, oh lovely line there by Jack Hill, can't quite get away. Oh, on the volley there by Jonas, straight through. Is this going to go all the way out the back? Yes it is. It was beautiful volley technique, to be fair. Caught it right out of the screws.
He was not going to be bending down to pick that up off his bootlaces, was he? So big boot there. It's not a very big dead ball area on this pitch, so that has in fact gone dead.
I think he knew as soon as he kicked it as well, because he gave up on the chase, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Caught that a bit too well, to be honest. Player down for Loughborough, receiving some medical treatment, which will allow some of the players with some part-time lung injuries to get them refilled, because that was that ball was in play for a long time.
It was, and I'm going to be a bit biased towards the forwards here, but when you're a forward and the backs keep kicking it, you're just on a constant kick chase. Like literally, you follow one, the opposition kick it back, you got to get yourself back on. So that will have been a lot of shuttle runs for a lot of those players just now.
You can be honest with me and the viewers. How many kicks into a game of kick tennis before you just give up?
You can never give up, but your soul may slightly break as a forward. Probably on kick number 3, you're thinking, I'm going to take it out of the kicker's hands right now.
So one of the lesser spotted with all the rule changes. 22 dropouts for Loughborough here, and they pick out Brown. He's going to find Jonas, who kicks that off the left peg. Again, it stays in field, and Malone's underneath it. He thinks about the kick, and he does drive it downfield. Now, where's this going to bounce? End over end, stays in field, and Jonas puts that cultured left boot through it. Well, that's an awkward one to take, and Loughborough let it bounce. Titcombe puts that infield. They're going to let it bounce again. Durham. And Paul Brown gets a lucky one. And they need to make that tackle, and they do. It's Ben Smith tackling Brown. Monday. Now Martin needs to get on, roll away here, and he does. He's a little bit slow. And now Craven. Oh, keeps it infield. Interesting. This is a conditioning test for these boys, isn't it? Goodness me. Scrum halves keeping the ball in play. Oh, big carry. Straight over the top of the defender. 26 minutes gone. Oh, Loughborough trying to put players through holes, but can't do it with forward passes.
There was no hole there. Even had it not been slightly forward as deemed by the ref there, that opening had shut. It's been a little bit lateral, I think, from both teams in attack. Then there's the odd straightening line. That would have been a great straightening line had it not been a forward pass. But there's not many of them. It's quite pass it out the back, get it out wide. We've not had anyone in any space. Paul Brown, the only ball he's had has been on a kick receipt somewhere in the middle of play, and all he's been able to do is run sideways, try and straighten up for a gap.
27 minutes gone. This is just the second scrum we've had. The first was a penalty to Durham before the ball had even gone in. So are we going to get a look at the coal face this time? Front rows down there. See the whites of the eyes, and they'll be looking forward to a good contest at scrum time.
And that shows, I know I've just said that it's been pretty lateral, but it shows the quality of the handling. We've only had 2 scrums in nearly 30 minutes now, and there's not been a lot of ball on the ground. A lot of it's been in the air because it's been kicked, but when both teams have handled it, it's been pretty secure.
And it has to be said, both teams have defended very well. It's been tremendously physical.
Yeah, and it will be, who can keep that going, who's got the bench that's going to come on and make that difference when there's tired bodies out there on that heavy ground.
Second reset of this scrum. It does come in this time, and Durham start to put the squeeze on. Oh, it has come out the back though. No penalty, instead a little chip into space. Good take by Reece Malone, and he calls the mark just to take the sting out of the situation. Seems a bit of a waste for Durham.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was aiming for then. I think maybe he's just gone a little bit too long on that, trying to put a bit of pressure on, but ideally you want that to bounce so that it's not just an easy mark for the defence.
So Jonas underneath it. Now Nicholson. Oh, is that out on the full? Yes, it is. 2 loose kicks in under a minute for Nicholson. Hands the initiative back to Loughborough.
Yeah, he'll definitely be disappointed by that. 2 loose ones. One that he got away with on that on the mark, but yeah, that's straight out. So Durham are going to have to defend again. They turned over a line out in a very similar position here, so they'll be hoping to do the same again. Durham
7, Loughborough 6 here at Hollow Drift. It is as tight and as tense as we thought it might be. It was free-flowing and free-scoring earlier on down at Topsham. Completely the opposite here, and that is a crash-bang wallop of a carry in midfield. Now can Loughborough get some front football? Oh, crikey, another huge collision. Joe Murphy absolutely dishing it in the middle of the park. And again, Loughborough finding gain line hard to come by. They found phases hard to come by as well, but now some space around the outside. Good pace by Fitzgerald, taking on the fullback, and Loughborough take the lead for the first time. A stunning finish from Ben Fitzgerald, just his second try of the season, puts Loughborough ahead in the semi-final. That was a finish that we're used to seeing Paul Brown doing, to be perfectly honest.
Great handoff, great pace. Yeah, fantastic finish there. I'd like to see them in a race, I'm not going to lie. That was brilliant.
Well, the handoff and just that little change of pace to flat foot the fullback Nick Jonas and put him on his heels was superb. Almost makes his haircut forgivable.
Almost. He's just scored in a semi-final. I don't think he cares what his hair looks like.
Well, he obviously doesn't care what his hair looks like. Either way, what a meat pie. Just his second of the season. With gas like that,
Yeah.
it's hard to believe.
It's surprising. He didn't have a lot of space. Arguably on paper there was nothing on there. He was defended. But that handoff's just got him on the outside of Paul Brown. And exactly as you said, a little slight inward steps, just wrong-footed the fullback, long enough for him to get on the outside. But I think he could have outpaced him anyway by the looks of him going at full tilt there.
Important conversion. They're all important points today. Has that got the legs? No, just drifts across the face of goal. But with less than 10 minutes to go till half-time, Durham find themselves behind. Those travelling supporters have got plenty to cheer about. 11 unanswered points for Loughborough, and they've wrestled the lead away from Durham. Oh, it's a good game, isn't it?
It is. This is what a semi-final should be. You don't know which way it's going to go. It's really tight.
Interesting though, isn't it? It was a Loughborough mistake that led to the first Durham try. Durham mistake that led to the first Loughborough try. And it's maybe a few phases later, but it's just those tiny changes of momentum, those little sort of ripples in the waves that lead to the tsunami.
And if you can capitalise on them, then, yeah, you're going to be quids in. They've got a sub coming on there, Durham.
Is that Paul Brown who's come off, and he's been replaced by Morgan James by the looks of things, number 21, who's taken his place over on the far side there. And there's another Loughborough player who was down getting some medical attention, but they're back to their full contingent. And Nicholson, that's a better strike on the restart, but another good take by Loughborough, who have taken the restarts well so far in this match.
They have. Durham have kicked to the same place every restart, and Loughborough have caught it well every time. I think he's taken that out.
He has, yeah. And now Loughborough have gone quick. Oh, they're not going to be allowed to go quickly. In fact, I think the officials are going to have a talk about this, because Braden Barrett had a foot in touch, then he knocked the ball on. So there's a decision to be made here. Oh, they're saying that it's gone out on the full. I don't know about that, you know.
I feel like he touched it. Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, I think he's taken that out himself. That's what it looked like from here.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't a great kick. It was going out on the full, so it was a mistake from Barrett, who should have just left it. Alas, it is Durham ball. Fred Davis on the ball. One of the most reliable line-outs in the league, and that's well taken by House. And now Nicholson sends Barrett into the contact zone. Another good carry from the blindside flanker. Can Durham get another score before half-time to get their noses back in front? It was a lovely pickup from Nicholson, but then he got sandwiched by two Loughborough tacklers. And great hands off the boots. As Marin House goes sideways, it's Langton making the tackle on him. Davis loves a carry. He shapes to pass, but that wasn't going anywhere.
I'd love to know what his carry stats are. He has carried a lot so far this half.
This season, his work rate's remarkable. I'm not surprised that he had a rest last week, because he's played some rugby.
He certainly has. I was surprised not to see him on the team sheet last week, but yeah, he's back in his usual position, captaining from that hooker spot.
I wonder if he'll keep the moustache when he moves into professional rugby.
I hope not.
Another kick to nothing. It's been fumbled by Titcombe. Oh, nearly fumbled there by Malone as well, but he goes end over end. He's managed to split the two sweepers for Durham, but now Jonas can assess his options, and the kick tennis commences. Back it comes. There's Pepper underneath it. Another one with deadly footwork if he's given an inch of space. Oh, Jonas gets charged down. Now the chance for Loughborough again. Can they get there? No, they can't, and Jonas gets driven into touch. And that is the gamble. If you switch off for a second, the kick chase from Loughborough, the defensive pressure has been good throughout, and now Durham defending their own 22.
Ollie Ashworth there looked like he was very upset that he might be the first person to that ball. He definitely waited for Durham to pick that up so that he could smash somebody into touch.
But smart move, because look where they are now.
They've got the ball now.
Langdon taken by Monday, and now it's Loughborough's turn to pump the legs and try and drive towards the Durham line, looking for their second try. Tom Miles conducts the orchestra from 9, but this is good, slow, steady, crude and rough work for Loughborough. Now the backs start to add their weight as well. Loughborough going in search of try number 2. They're close to the line. They're over the line. They've got a second try, and they've played Durham at their own game here at Hollow Drift.
They certainly have. That was the slowest driven maul I've seen in a long time. But actually, as a point to note, it doesn't matter how slow it's going. If you can keep the ball in, you can keep it safe at the back, and you keep it moving, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you'll be on the ascendancy and you'll get the try.
Well, it was almost like watching it in slow motion, wasn't it? And you know, once the backs join, you have to score.
Well, the try went in about 0.1 of a second after James Langston came in from the 13 channel into drive, so I think he's probably going to take that himself.
Oh, that'll be going on his stats. That'll be going on his highlights reel as a try assist, I've got no doubt. 3 minutes to go till half time. Loughborough students in the ascendancy. Since going 7-0 down, it's been 16 unanswered points. 2 penalties, 2 tries, 1 missed conversion. Conversion from the other side this time. Decent strike. He likes it. Durham 7, Loughborough 18.
Well, that's been an exciting couple of minutes, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
There's been far too much midfield action from both teams, just cancelling each other out, either with those early ball carries and then more recently with that kicking game. And it's actually been Loughborough who've taken those little opportunities, a little bit of indiscipline, won their set piece there, drove it really well, so they definitely deserve to be in the lead.
Well, last week ahead of Swansea, and this week in the interview before the match, Scott Snedden talked about being clinical. 2 opportunities they've had to score. Well, the first one, only half a chance really, and they've come away with 2 tries. Another great kick chase. Braden Barrett does well to take it over the shoulder, and Durham can reset from the halfway line. So about 90 seconds of the half remaining on our clock. Just a reminder that ours is not linked in with the referee's watch. It's pretty close, but if the clock turns red and your team's leading, don't get too excited, because there might be a few pages left in the chapter. As Craven shapes the box again. Counter-ruck comes in from Loughborough, but to no avail. Better kick this time, drops outside the 22. Is there space around the outside? No, there's not. Durham shut the door. Loughborough are going to have to see out the half from inside their own half. 1 minute to go, and Tom Miles puts that one up for Jonas. Not particularly deep, but it's been knocked back. Lovely volleyball skills there to Max Pepper. Oh, Loughborough just thought they'd got the turnover. Who was that over the ball? It was David Douglas Bridge. Oh, interesting one here for Durham. Probably a little bit too far out to go for the stick, so this is going straight to the corner.
Yeah, definitely. Big opportunity now to finish the half with 5 or 7 points there for Durham. That's what they need to take into the half-time team talk.
Well, they'll be hoping for a you go, I go. We've seen an exemplary driving maul from Loughborough, but Durham have made a league championship out of doing this, and they've had to dig a few out of the fire this season. 17-12 to Durham when the teams met here earlier in the league season. Davis on the score sheet that day. Job 1 done. And the maul begins. There's a body on the floor there, and it is a Palatinate one, and Loughborough have turned it over. Oh, that's a big moment at the end of the first half.
Certainly is. That's the exact same line out that Durham called, the same movement. You know, it's obviously a go-to. They've won the ball cleanly, they've brought it down, but Loughborough defended it really well. It's only really crabbing towards the touchline, which is how you want to defend that sort of mid to front ball. You want to try and knock it back towards touch to stop anyone being able to peel off, and if they do, you've got the touchline to support you there. Loughborough defended it really well. Durham probably need to start thinking about where else they can put that ball in the line out.
Well, all is not lost here for Durham, because it is a scrum, and there has been an area where they'll feel as though they've been in the ascendancy. They got the shove on last time, but the ball came out of the back. They won a penalty with the first scrum of the game, but this time it's Loughborough's put in. And Tom Miles will have to wait a little bit longer. Talk to me about resetting scrums and what you're thinking about. Is it all up to the front rowers, or does everyone have a part to play here?
No, definitely everyone has a part to play. You know, front five, second rows are pretty instrumental now with this bind, and players are getting front rows are getting their feet back, so they're in a, you know, they're basically balancing their body weight. It should be through their outside arms of the props. They shouldn't have any heads on shoulders. So the second rows can tip them over if there's too much of an early sort of push, or they come off their knees too early. So yeah, you can't just blame the front row.
In it comes then from Miles, and Durham look to get the shove on straight away. It's going to need to come out of the back at some point, and it does. And it's Ben Smith with a really good carry. Sol Hyde is over the ball, but he's off his feet. No, he doesn't release the tackler, does he? Sol Hyde.
I think that was pretty high.
Well, the ref's going to...
Yeah.
Oh, no arm tackle. And he's sending it into the bin. Goodness me. Sol Hyde has gone in with the shoulder. Referee's in a good spot. And Durham will be without their inside centre for the next 10 minutes.
It was a good double tackle option, because it certainly needed, but it looked like he's gone pretty high.
Well, there was no sign of the right arm leaving the side, was there? In fact, he did release and did everything turnover-wise by the book. We can see Alex Key there. His body language says that he perhaps doesn't agree with the decision, but from that replay, there was no sign of the right arm leaving the pocket of Sol Hyde, was there?
No, he's come in to make that dominant, slightly higher hit. Players being tackled already. He's falling. It's difficult to get your height and your wrap right, but you have to. You know, player safety wise, you've got to make sure that you've got a wrap on and you're dropping your body height a little bit.
Well, player safety is paramount, particularly for Durham, with Pat Bishop still missing after that horrible concussion he got here against Cardiff a few weeks ago. But Loughborough jogged to the sheds here, the happier of the two sides. They overcame the early try from Hill to score some unanswered points, and they lead at half-time in this semi-final by 18 points to 7. Let's take a look at the highlights then. Seems a long time ago now when Hill scored, but this was the perfect start for Durham, wasn't it? Great discipline, great score.
It does, and it does feel like a very long time ago that Durham were in possession, in a good place on the pitch to be able to, you know, get themselves into a spot to do this again. This is the strength of their game. Once they get that latch on, it's very difficult to stop someone 2-3 metres out from your try line.
But Loughborough got back into the game. They kicked 2 penalties to make it 7-6, then scored this try. As you pointed out at the time, it was a bit of a try from nothing, and sometimes in a game like this, you just need a bit of magic from your winger. Yeah,
and a bit of pace like Ben's got there, absolutely. I wonder if that's when Paul Brown's got injured there. He seemed to just trip almost on his second chase.
Well, we're going to have a look at the second try here, but that was the first time either team had really got the edge, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and it did come from arguably nothing. There was no overlap. There was nothing that should have let Ben Fitzgerald through there, but he certainly made his way over the try line.
Oh, and this was the powerhouse. More Will Sanders was in there, James Langston was in there, all the backs were there. And then this was the incident right at the end. It was Ben Smith picking and going. Let's have another look at it here. I mean, the referee was right in behind. He'll have seen the tackle shape, obviously got a better view of it than us, and he was very, very confident in his decision.
He was. It was a good ball carry off the back of what I thought was going to be a turnover scrum in the end, and you're going to have to double tackle someone like that who's running at pace. He's got a little bit of wind behind him, was carrying really well, but yeah, the ref's there, and ultimately Durham are now going to be 10 minutes. Well, maybe 9.5 minutes without their midfield.
Well, Durham have got a deficit to overcome here at Hollow Drift. It has turned into a beautiful evening, and it's shaping up for a great second half. While we go in and try and thaw out a little bit, I had a catch-up with two great clubmen from both sides ahead of kick-off. So we'll leave you with that, and we'll see you in the second half. Always nice to grab a club legend, club captain at half-time, so I thought I'd grab one here. Obviously, you'd rather be out there playing with the boys. Yeah. Alas, you've got non-matching footwear on. Tell us what's going on here.
So the first carry of the Swansea game, straight off the kick-off, I fractured my metatarsal. So we're seeing what the MRI says about that, and we'll see what happens from there.
Before your time, that was a very trendy injury with David Beckham and Wayne Rooney, but now it's just a pain in the backside, particularly as we get to this point in the season. Let's have a chat about the season then. You're a second-year student, but you've been part of a bit of a revolution of Loughborough. You're back. Must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that we focused on since we had a bit of a turnaround last year. We had Gerard Mullin leave, and then we kind of had Scott Snedden come in with a lot of his new staff, and with that came a big influx of boys. I think we've only got probably 2 or 3 lads leaving at the end of this year, so it feels like we've got a real good group who can kind of put their stamp on things. So maybe there's been a bit of a change in the camp, and yeah, we've seen that probably from the performances we've put on.
It's a little secret just between me, you, and the people watching at home. Tell us about Scott.
Oh, Scott. He's a very, I don't know how many interviews you've had with him. He's probably described him as a perfectionist.
Okay.
He's very detailed in everything he does. You don't get many smiles from him, but I think last week he was quite impressed after Swansea, so that was probably the first positive team talk we've had. But yeah.
I mean, obviously you were cut short in that game, but that was a remarkable performance from the team. They were 6 from 6 building up to it, Swansea. They'd beaten Bath, they'd beaten Cardiff Met in Cardiff in the rain. They'd really spoiled their party when they'd invited all the press. And they'll have been coming to Epinal Way thinking that they were going to get to a semi-final. They were the form team in the league, so to put 40 on them, what a show.
Yeah, I mean, we went down there and it's obviously a tough place to go, and we probably had a point to prove from the last time we played them. I think we were the last team that beat them at Epinal Way, and then we went there and thought maybe we underestimated them a bit, and I think that shows the likes of the sides they beat Cardiff Met, they beat Bath, who were good on their day. So yeah, I think we were really disappointed when we went down there and had a point to prove at home, and I think we did it quite well. Let's
talk about the wider picture then. You're holding the mic that says BUCS Super Rugby, and you know, you're still very young in your career, but you've been involved with clubs, you've played senior academy rugby, but now you're here at Loughborough playing BUCS Super Rugby, leading a team with another year to go. How does it differ playing at this level to when you were playing senior academy involved with the Sale Sharks?
I think probably it's almost a natural step up from schoolboy level. So at schoolboy you kind of have the throwing the ball around. I mean, we were watching Seb Batenge yesterday, my old school, Kirkham won it, so a big shout out to them. But we it's kind of a natural step up from that. The skill level's still very high. Not many people, I think you see when they go into senior level, almost fall out of love with the game a little bit. You see the skill level's high, the enthusiasm's high, people want to play for their university teams. And that's probably something a bit different to the senior academy. Maybe not always as physical, but for young lads who are trying to put on weight, put on size, get stronger, that's probably really good in their development.
And playing with your mates every week as well.
Playing with your mates every week, you can't beat it. That's, I think, probably something that I miss the most would be that you're not training with your mates all week, but you're not going out to play with them. So to be able to do it every week, we're quite lucky, really.
Just quickly on Kirkham, they won Sedbertens. They got to the national final at Twickenham as well, didn't they?
No.
Heck of a rugby place.
Yeah, no, Kirkham's a really good place. I think it's led up by Ali Trenhale there, and what a man. He had a great influence on me, and I know we've got a couple of Kirkham lads in the Loughborough squad. Hopefully, a couple more to come next year. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. There's a little Kirkham contingent come to Loughborough.
This is your opportunity then to maybe sell Loughborough, because there are 10 teams in this league, 10 great programmes, all with their own good points, no bad points, a lot of idiosyncrasies, but why Loughborough? Why do you love it? What is it about the group, the facilities, the boys you play with, the coaches?
I think probably when you go around there, it's somewhere that you've got to see. So I was a bit unsure when I had a couple of offers from different places here as well, and just different things to appeal to different people. I went to Loughborough and instantly I was like, wow. You walk into, I think, Power Base and you're seeing all these different athletes training, all like GB, England. I mean, we've got the GB7s based there, so just the opportunities that are available. 4 or 5 of our lads each week are going into train with England 7s. So if you're playing well and you're training hard, the opportunity is always there. But it's not just the kind of rugby. There's other sports. When you first go in, you'll be put in a sporting block, they call it. So from my first year halls, I've been with a national champion cross country runner, national champion 100 metre runner, a girl that plays for Notts Forest football. So it's pretty mental. There's 3 or 4 rugby lads in that flat, some that have gone on to play professionally now. It's
which
mental.
halls were you?
Claudia Parsons.
That's beyond. So does Butler Court still exist?
Butler Court, I think, does still exist. A bit of a smaller one now.
That's Butler Court back in the day.
Back in the day.
That is,
Back
we're
in the
talking
heydays.
back like nearly 2 decades ago now. Right, we're actually going to be playing this out at half time in the semi-final. There's some warming up going on here. Win or lose, you can't define yourself by one performance and one result in the season. So obviously, if you win, you'll be elated on the bus home. If you lose, you'll be devastated. But looking back on this season, are you happy with how it's gone on a personal level and on a team level as well?
I think probably we could put it down as a year of growth. We went into the season with really big aspirations. We got some good results, and then we've probably let our foot off the gas at times and got a bit complacent. But as I said, this is a young group. A lot of them come straight out of school, probably over half the squad. So they'll take those experiences from this year and hopefully learn from them and realise that actually the games that are away and a long journey actually take a bit more preparation. So fingers crossed, we'll take top 4, but probably not what we were aiming for.
What I love about this is we've had a really great chat, then right at the end he's gone straight out of the media copybook. Thank you very much. Mate. Enjoy
Cheers,
the game.
Dave. Thank you.
Our half-time catch-ups continue just as the snow starts to fall. Patrick, every time I'm here I have to deal with some kind of inclement weather. It can't be like this all the time.
No, I know, we're lucky today. There's no wind, I think that's the big one. But the snow's coming down at the end of March. It's crazy to think it.
I've spoken like a true outside half. You're not worried about what's coming that way. You're worried about what's going that way. First things first, how's your head? We're having a chat, so that's good news. But you're not out there tonight, so not so good news. How are you feeling?
No, obviously I'd love to be out there, but back on the mend. A few more positive responses and scans. So yeah, really happy. Obviously I've got a great support network around me here. They're really helping me. So hopefully aiming for the 7s at the back end of the season, I think.
Oh, great. Another opportunity to pull the Palatinate jersey on. Let's talk about positives then. And the positives are you were the starting 10 for the BUCS Super Rugby League champions. At the start of this season, forget the team, individually, did you expect that?
Probably not. I think it was a bit of a weird year. We came in, obviously missed my fresher year, so everyone was on very clean slates. So the big thing was just taking my opportunity when it came to me and proving myself, and I sort of always trusted my ability and skill set. So when I was given that opportunity, I think I was really happy that I managed to take it. And just playing in this league has just made me grow from strength to strength, I think. I loved it, the opportunity, the players that I'm around, playing against some of the best players in the country. In probably one of the most competitive leagues. That's something I've really loved. Yeah.
What have been some of the highlights this season then? Any games or any moments that really stick out? Well, we are leaving that chat with Patrick, but it is great to see him back on 2 feet. And fingers crossed for him, he is aiming for the 7s season. It'd be great to see him back in the Palatinate. Such a great year he had as the outside half of this Durham team. They could do with a turnaround here. And one thing that has turned around is the weather conditions, because it has started snowing. It's got darker. It looks miserable out there. But this is where legends are made, where characters are born, and where one team is going to book their place to try and win the biggest prize in university rugby.
Were you just in the changing room giving those half-time talks?
That's a completely different invoice. But in all seriousness, Durham in particular, the league champions, they're undefeated here in, as we said, 861 days. That's the number I'm going to keep calling. They're up against it.
Yeah, they certainly are, down to 14 now as well. So down on the scoreboard, down on the pitch in terms of players, and down on the weather actually, because this has completely changed.
Charlie Titkin gets us underway. Restart into the 22. It's taken by Barrett. And that is put on the toe. Loughborough are going to let it bounce, and it's Reece Malone who rescues it from the touchline. Oh, you don't want to be a winger on the far side in these conditions, do you? It is hard going for those guys out there in the cold. Now Dan Eckersley in the team for Teddy Leatherbarrow today with that broken foot. Charlie Titcombe hoists that one up. The wind's swirling, there's hardly any distance on it, but it's going to be competitive. Now, who has that come off? Doesn't matter who it's come off, it's with Durham, and they peel round the short side. Running up that flank. Oh, beautiful inside ball, and the lovely feet as well. The offload to Durham, straight on the front foot. Tossing it around like Fijians. Loughborough calling for a knock-on, referee disagreeing. Now there are numbers here for Durham, they just need to get the ball there. Oh, fantastic line, and a last-ditch tackle to stop it. Oh, I thought it had opened right up there for Durham and Ollie Walker, but they're still coming here. That was Joe Murphy. Oh, and Loughborough have turned it over. That was a massive collision, wasn't it? Ollie Ashworth with it. Ben Smith back on his feet, incidentally, after that incident that saw Sol Hyde sent to the bin. And now Tom Miles can put boot to ball to try and relieve the pressure, but he's kept that in field and invited some more pressure here for Loughborough students. Will Sanders covers over. These conditions are absolutely horrendous.
It's a Christmas card, isn't it? And the Christmas card's now blowing into our eyes up here in the
if you
commentary
gave me
area.
this on a Christmas card, I would be furious because I wouldn't be able to see anything. Nice little break there from Nicholson. Couldn't quite wriggle through the tackle. It's slow ball for Durham, but they'll be pleased to be on it. Down to 14 players, remember. So any time they can eat out of the clock will be welcome, but they look like they've got more intention than that. Jack Reed's on wearing number 22 in the second half. It's Langston putting the shot on Joe Murphy, relentless in the carry. Both Murphys have been for Durham this season. After conceding the penalty.
Well, it seemed to take a long time for the penalty to be given there. It was almost like they were playing it away. Good opportunity now for, probably not his best kick, but make sure, just get it into touch. Big opportunity now for Durham. They need to turn this territory and possession into points.
Well, given that they're an inside centre down, if this isn't a catch and drive, I'll be gobsmacked.
Yeah, it's been a strength of theirs as well, so I would imagine that that's what they're going to do. Also, this is running the clock down.
Yeah. Let's talk about defending them then. Do you throw someone up here? Do you just prepare yourself?
I'd probably go up here because we're far enough out that you can get back to your feet, but that's not what Loughborough are going to do. They're going to come in and hit. To be fair, if you've got a good counter drive, which looks like a scrum, as this one does from Loughborough, then why go in the air? You're just going to stop it or frustrate it enough that it peels away like this.
Oh, Loughborough have got advantage on the ball there, but it is advantage. Oh, now the watch is off. Are we going to have another card here?
No, just a talking to by the looks of it. But you're going to kick for touch and you're going to drive again, surely. Nice.
Oh, better kick this time. 5 metres out. Great start to the second half for Durham. They've taken up more than half of the yellow card time. No points have been added to the ledger yet. Paul Brown is back on, wearing number 14. Fred Davis. Snowflakes. Covering his thin blonde hair. Now it goes up the blind side for Durham and then burrows towards the line. Davis just short, but another penalty. This will be a card, but the referee's not run under the sticks.
I'll be honest, I think Durham are lucky there. I think there was a bit of obstruction on a truck and trailer as that's peeled off the side of that original maul.
Well, it's a third penalty in quick succession that's gone to the corner. Dan Eckersley goes to the bin. Well, you talk about the luck. Unfortunately, we don't have more angles, but I'd be fascinated to see how close to the head that Solheim tackle was at the end of the first half as well, and what that might mean if we had TMO as part of BUCS Super Rugby, but we don't. And Tim Allett's doing a great job out there. Oh, it's a loose ball from the line out for Durham, but they have managed to scramble it back, and they're going to put in the hard yards again, just as they did for their first try. Marin House is over! Great strength from the veteran lock forward. He gets his 5th try of the year, and he drags Durham back into this semi.
Durham obviously had a decent half-time chat, didn't they? And they've come out of the blocks absolutely firing, and pleasingly they've kept the ball in hand. So whether that's been a tactic that they had from the first half and they've realised that actually we're a player down, we just need to keep it fairly tight. I think they missed a big opportunity a few minutes ago. Yeah, it's a much better latch. That's improved as well from that first half where people were running in on their own there. Straight away, 2 players in on the ball carrier makes a big difference.
Durham 12, Loughborough 18 with the kick to come. Well, with a player down, to win 3 penalties, get an opposition player binned and then get a 5-pointer. Couldn't have gone much better, really, could it?
It's definitely the start that they needed to get themselves mentally and physically back into the game.
To make it a 4-point game, Nicholson. Yes, he does. 14-18, and Durham have quite literally weathered the storm, because just like that, it's cleared up and we can see everything again.
Yep. Christmas cards are over, I'm afraid. And are they still on player down, aren't they, Durham?
Yes, Solheim still
more
off, but now Dan Eckersley off.
Evens.
For Loughborough as well. Solheim's just got his subs coat on and he's getting warm. I say getting warm, that's not in the literal sense, because that's pretty much impossible out there at the moment. It is Baltic. But fantastic semi-final, 14-18. Craven. Again, not putting much distance on that. He wants them to challenge for it. Scrappy ball comes back Loughborough's way. Bounced off a Loughborough player. I think Brown got a touch on it, and then it was Griffin Phillipson wearing 17. That's Henry Lavin. 2 tries this season. Usually starts at number 8 when he gets the opportunity to do so, Lavin. So I'm going to drop just outside the 22. No, it's in the 22. And a couple of those kicks have been overcooked.
Yeah, it's actually generally been the other way around. Durham have kind of overcooked and overkicked a couple of them. But Loughborough just creeping into that same. It's probably only a couple of metres in it, but it makes a big difference.
Well, remember, our clock not entirely official. However, the first yellow card ticking towards 0, so Loughborough will be keen to go through a few more phases before the next stoppage will bring Solheim back on. That red-headed midfield menace. A change in the call here for Loughborough. They've revisited the Brains Trust. Line-out's not been perfect. It's not perfect that time either. Oh, brilliant pick-up at the back. Really good hands in the conditions, and Durham back in possession. Is that taking a little touch in the air? Here's Fitzgerald. Oh, has that gone out on the full? Oh, it hasn't. It's just. Oh, has it? Yes.
Touchline says it has.
Ooh. Small margins.
Yeah, very small. That touchline is hot tonight.
And that's what, 30 metres. And Durham back in the driving seat.
Yeah, that's been the difference between the two lineouts tonight. They've both competed in similar places, but Loughborough just haven't executed. The ball's almost in their hands, but that little bit of pressure with Durham getting up defensively against them.
And just like that, Marin House has totally got away with one.
He certainly has.
No jumper
Loughborough
winner.
a bit asleep there.
Well, Durham were too. Snooze Town, population both packs. Now Durham, shift on by Murphy. There's a little nudge in behind. Paul Brown chasing it. Oh, it's well watched. Well watched. That is nervy for anyone, isn't it?
That was. And Durham have scored a couple like that this season, just getting a little bit of a grubber through. When you've got someone with that pace on the outside, you can afford to put the ball down, keep it on the ground nice and low, slot it through the defence. You know someone's going to be on the end of it. Yeah, they scored one with a little bit more space when we brought the cameras up here for the Cardiff game. There's just some space there, and Paul Brown attacked it so well from the kick. Charlie Titcombe puts a heavy right boot through that. Some of the snow has settled on the roof of the grandstand, look. Goodness me. Reece Malone spots a gap and tries to drill the ball in behind it. Takes a heavy bounce. Jonas is there. Fancies a go here, Jonas, but runs into some tacklers instead. House, scorer of the try that's brought Durham back into this one. 4 points in it. Loughborough still down to 14. That one half charged down. Knock-on advantage here for Durham. Again, they had numbers out to the right-hand side. And a second knock-on. So we'll go back for the first one. Another set scrum. Just as I say, I think Durham have changed their tactics from that kick in the midfield. There's another one. I don't know, is it windier out there than we think it is? Because a lot of these midfield kicks, box kicks, have been straight up in the air. Not as much distance as you might expect. I completely understand they might be wanting to get a bit of competition under it, but that one was almost directly above where he kicked it from. There's still a bit of moisture in the air, looking up at the floodlights, but it's so light, barely falling to the ground. Scrum on halfway. Durham haven't got any, well, they're flirting with keeping somebody on the blind side. Will Sanders is staying there just to guard it. Sanders, the only man in the Loughborough 15 who started last time Durham were defeated here back in 2019. Another penalty before the ball's even gone in. And that's with a change of prop for Loughborough as well, with Griffin Phillipson, who incidentally came off the bench last time Loughborough beat Durham. Another. Is that an omen? Is that what you're saying? Oh no, I'm just pleased I've got the stat, to be honest. Penalty count in key areas starting to catch up with Loughborough, isn't it? Yeah, I think, I'm not sure how many penalties they've given away this season, but they've certainly had a couple of yellow cards, so I would have said that discipline has maybe not been that great. Again, they choose not to send someone up and get that early shove on. But Durham back into the 22, now it starts to move forward, bodies rejoining here for Durham. We've been told once, so, oh, what a carry that is. Jack Reed getting Durham on the front foot. Another really direct carry. Although I feel as though if Durham used their peripherals a bit more, they could spot some space on the edge. Charlie Titcombe called into defensive action. Good phases here, good heavy carries. That's been knocked forward though by Joe Murphy. That was Jack Plunkett there, off the bench. 2 tackles in a row. one of them that's helped cause that knock on and get possession back. That's the kind of impact you want off your bench. Same from Jack Reed actually from Durham. He's slyly been hiding out, and when he ball carries very hard out on that far side when he first came on in the second half, and then again here making good ground and again making a good impact.
Yeah, it could be loosely described as direct, the ball carrying from Jack Reed, couldn't it?
Very.
Fred Davis is out there having a conversation with referee Tim Allett. We're not privy to exactly what that conversation is. Well, Loughborough doing well to force the knock on from Joe Murphy. However, they're not out of trouble yet because the scrum has come under some real duress. Alex Waddell is on for Loughborough. He's the one in the clean jersey.
I know. That's the problem with wearing white, isn't it? When you come off the bench, you're just desperate to get involved in the action, purely to get some mud on your shirt so you can blend back in with the rest of the team.
So it's an all-new front row now for Loughborough. It's Jack Plunkett at hooker, Griff Phillipson at 18 on the loose head side, and then Jack Burtonette wearing number 25. No, in fact, Alex Waddell isn't coming on.
That was a bit bizarre, wasn't it?
The time on the sin bin can't be done, can it? Just having a look now.
No, it mustn't be. Because I think Ben Fitzgerald is packing down as a 6 there.
Yeah. Yes, he is, yeah. Doing his best.
Doing all right. I've seen worse wingers come in on the flank, to be fair. Not bad. I wonder if he's practiced it at training or not.
Remember when Scotland men brought on scrum half Scott Steele at blindside flanker briefly against Wales, and they ended up winning that game in Llanelli. Full court footballers these days, aren't they?
Certainly are. Johnny May loves a bit of flanking. Jack Knoll as well for England.
Oh, Jack Knoll can do what he wants though, can't he?
Yeah, he
what a player.
can.
What a player. Oh, penalty at scrum time for Loughborough this time.
I think that's 3 now, isn't it? The ref has just deemed straight away that it hasn't been always to the attacking team either, has it? Well, no, maybe it has actually. It's always been
always the team
the attacking team. Yeah.
Get packing down in the row.
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
When the whistle goes, do you always know who the penalty's gone to, or are you generally just looking at the grass?
Absolutely not. No idea whatsoever. You just try and get up and usually get backwards as quickly as you can, and then it's fine if it's gone the other way because it's probably not going to be a quick tap, so you can get yourself organised probably for the line out.
So now Loughborough make the change and Alex Waddell comes on. The England under 20. Loughborough not in a hurry. There's 23 minutes to go in this game, and I can't imagine them taking the entire time to get this ball in, but Jack Plunkett, what, he goes short. Training ground move and a lovely carry there from the big second rower, David Douglas Bridge. Gets some valuable metres for Loughborough, but then they get turned over at the first phase.
Oh, that was a great carry. Intelligent move again. I'm all for that. Changing up the line out, do something a bit different that the defence aren't expecting. And they just played that quick, short one to the front.
And that is how you find a touch on that side. Saying that, if Charlie Titcombe found that first touch, maybe it'd still be 0-0 and we wouldn't have this beautiful nail-biting semi-final.
Amazing how the momentum can swing in different directions.
I'm putting you on 17-minute notice, by the way, because we're going to need a player of the match at some point.
You know, last time I did this, that player then got yellow carded, so I don't have a great track record.
Marinhouse at the front. Good ball here for Durham. Tom Miles pointing at things, not entirely sure what he's communicating to his forward back.
Telling them to get in so he doesn't have to, I would imagine.
Yes. Well, Loughborough thinking they were driving that towards the touchline. All the meanwhile, Durham are making their way into the 22, running dummy lines, and then Davis gets his head down. Loughborough reset the white defensive wall, and Durham just look like they've got a bit more impetus in attack. Players putting their hands up to carry, and Marin House goes again. Relentless engine on the try scorer. Another gain line carry. And another big collision in midfield. Durham have got a penalty advantage here, have they? The referee had his arm out. Now it's gone back down. Oh, the crossfield kick to Brown is a beauty. The footwork from the winger. Oh, he gets tackled. It's unorthodox. He's down, but Durham are just 5 metres away. Again, it's Jack Reed getting over the gain line. Great tackle by Ollie Ashworth. Try saver, but Durham knocking on the door. They get a try here. They go back into the lead, and they seize the momentum as we approach the final quarter of this semi-final. Durham requiring the same discipline here that got them the first try of the match. They're close. They're over. They lead.
That is tough to defend when you've got relentless pressure like that coming from Durham, just picking at pace around the corner, not really allowing the defence to get themselves set, coming in numbers every time. So definitely learnt from that first effort. They've got the latch on, probably got an extra person on the latch actually there, to be fair. You're only allowed to link up with one other person to start with until you make contact. So they've done that really well, Durham.
And who is it? The captain. Of course it is. Fred Davis sneaks Durham back into the lead. 19-18, and this, the easiest of the conversions so far.
Just adding to his score tally, isn't he? His try tally there, Fred.
It's actually quite remarkable.
And that one wasn't off the back of a driven line out, so he's had to actually do some hard graft there to get that one down.
Was that a dig?
Just saying that sometimes hookers throw the ball in, which is tough, and then they just ride the back of that driven ball and score. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that was hard yards, just like Marin House. Those two housemates, of course, along with Rhys Belcher, we're in number 19 for Durham today. And it is the forward pack who have earned the 3 tries for Durham that have given them the slender 3-point advantage. 20 minutes to go. Loughborough yet to score in this second half, yet to really have any territory in this second half, as Durham have shown the mettle of champions. But the momentum has changed throughout the hour we've been playing, and who's to say it will not change again. Craven. Brilliant kick, brilliant take. He's changed his tactical kicking, hasn't he? Oh, and he's gone for that top spinner again, and this time Rhys Malone sees it coming. And Durham can field that ball under no pressure. Titcomb's under this one. He's got time, oh, he juggles with it and throws a bit of a hospital pass to Fitzgerald, who runs into 3 tacklers. There are players over the ball for Durham. Are they off their feet? They must be. Alas, the referee says play on, and it's back with Loughborough.
That looked like that just came out the side, maybe a little bit forward, but touch judge was there. I'm sure he could feed that in if it was.
Slow ball here. Oh, this is going to take an eternity to come out, isn't it? In fact, Tom Miles goes digging for it. Durham think they've spotted a gap, but Rhys Malone takes it inside the 22. No mark called this time. He's just going to drill it back. Oh, Brown takes it on the chest. Is he going to have a go this time, Brown? Oh, he is, and he's a strong runner as well. Gets away from 2, runs into his own player.
Shame. I wonder if that's been part of their tactics, kick to somebody who maybe doesn't kick back as often as they would run back, and that's maybe what Loughborough have been looking for unsuccessfully, always kicking to someone who probably will kick it back. But yeah, that's a shame.
Well, he'd beaten 2 tacklers, Brown,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah, he had. He's very slinky, isn't he? When he's got the ball in his hands, it doesn't look like he must be going at some pace, and he's obviously a strong boy.
Well, we saw from the way he was tackled in this corner in front of us, it's so unorthodox and so ungainly. It's difficult to get
a grip on him.
Yes, yeah.
I think he maybe could have taken the outside there. He stepped back in and just got, I think he just got 1 foot in that tackle there, brought him down, but I think he'd have the pace and the strength on the outside. It's always a risk though as a winger. You don't want to be put into touch. It's like a heinous crime.
So when it comes from Miles again, it's on roller skates, and Durham win the penalty.
What's the ref said there? Has he said? I didn't see a signal. Was he saying a hand was pulling that ball back? Is that what that was? Comments on a postcard? Did anyone see what the ref gave that penalty for? I mean, Durham were dominant, so I'll give them that. But
they have been for 65 minutes.
yeah.
Certainly in terms of the physicality of the scrum. And for 25 minutes of this second half, Durham have just controlled the game. It's what we've become much more accustomed to seeing from the league champions. But we've also seen that they've got the ability to cut loose as well. Is this the moment where that happens? Oh, another big carry round the corner. Oh, Loughborough were nearly over the ball then. Alas, comes back Durham's way. Henry Lavin, very unlucky. Now time to get physical in the 22 again. Oh, Loughborough winning another breakdown penalty. If Durham have dominated the scrum, Loughborough have dominated the breakdown.
They certainly have. They've done a good job of getting that tackler to roll away, which gives a nice clear picture to the ref that you're going in over the ball and you're strong. So they've, although I told them they didn't have a good discipline beforehand, that is very disciplined to be able to defend at the breakdown like that.
More changes here for Loughborough. Josh Lewis coming on, wearing number 22. He's in his final year of playing BUCS Super Rugby, burst onto the scene as a fresher, as a 10 and a 12. Wonder where he'll slot in here. Oh, Titcombe's still on, so those two might interchange in the middle of the park. First jobs first for Loughborough, secure the line-out ball, which they do, and it is off the top. Carry by Lavin. Loughborough up around halfway. Hardly been in the Durham half at all. And we're into the last 15 minutes again. It's a box kick. It's one for Lewis to chase. And she does, and he nearly gets there as well. Has that gone to ground? No, referee says play on. And it is Durham's over on that far side. In front of that small cluster of Loughborough supporters who've made the journey. Oh, gap! Up the blind side, lovely feet, oh, last ditch tackle, but does so well to stay in field. That famous Harry Craven dart that's led to so many tries this season has got Durham on the front foot again. Here's Hyde. Important tackle on Hyde, he couldn't quite get the off foot away, looked like he was free in the back of the hand. That was Waddell. That tackle might have looked a bit high, referee disagreed. Oh, now Durham looking to move it to the edge again. Nice step back inside. Takes them back up to the edge of the Loughborough 22. Again, heavy carries on the gain line. That was House again. Murphy offering himself, but it goes out of the back. Another gorgeous step. That time it was Jack Reed being less direct this time with Murphy in at scrum half. Now Brown, will he try and get the outside this time? No, he'll go direct again. Bumps off two tacklers. Then comes back for more before Waddell eventually gets him down. Again, Lavin over the ball. Oh, he's pinched it, and then Durham is straight back over it. Great turnover from Henry Lavin. But again, it's Loughborough having to exit from their own 22. Oh, and up and under to chase himself. Well taken by Lavin, the man who turned the ball over. He has been busy since coming on, hasn't he? Very effective in the back row, Lavin. But again, just kicked downfield by Loughborough. Josh Lewis up on his own to chase, and now Reece Malone. Oh, shanks the kick. Out on the full.
Shame again. I'm not 100% sure what the aim of that. Well, not the last one where he's chipped it into touch, but the one before. You've not really set yourself up with enough people in the backfield to then counter from that. Yeah, this last 10 minutes or 10-15 minutes that we've got, especially Durham. Spoke about it before the game. Those boys have played a lot of minutes with that very similar starting team. So there's going to be some tired. I had a look at Fred Davies' face earlier and he looked pretty tired. He's had some minutes in that body this season, that's for sure.
Well, just run you through some of the numbers again. You know, we talked about Fred Davis, Monty Royston and Matt Woodward. They've started 11 times together as a front row. Matt Woodward at tight head has started every game. It's Monty Royston's 11th start in a row. Marin House and Joe Murphy have packed down as a second row partnership 13 times together this season. Yeah, Max Pepper, Paul Brown have started every week as well. Nick Jonas has been in every match day squad, whether it's been as a winger, a fullback, or on the replacements bench. What it does mean is that once it's your jersey, the gaffer's not going to take you out just for the sake of it, but when you come to the end of a long season like this, your body is going to be begging for a rest. But if they get past this one, they've got 80 more minutes to play, and it could be double glory as... Oh, it's broken loose now! Could this be the chance for Durham? Completely missed by Reece Malone, and Durham back on the front foot. They have been camped in this 10-metre gap either side of the Loughborough 22. Loughborough defending bravely, so bravely, but surely the White Dam will have to yield at some point. Tipped on one more time, another big collision. And it's Durham on the ball one more time. It's Murphy, and it's a forward pass.
Looked like Durham were just building up to try and create a bit of an opportunity out wide. They'd moved the ball pretty well, had a couple of carries, but another forward pass from the ref there. Well, not from the ref, but called by the ref. Well
spotted, he was bang in line.
Yeah.
But so much of the rugby has been played in this part of the pitch, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been great for us here.
Yes.
From where our commentary point is, but yeah, it's started off midfield and then there's been quite a bit. You know, Durham have had the territory. If we had those stats up, it would show that Durham have probably had possession and territory actually this half. It's just not quite turned into those points that they would have wanted, but it's got to be tiring for Loughborough, constantly defending. They have not had a lot of attacking ball, and when they have, again, there's been some kick away of possession with probably not quite as an exuberant chase as it was in the first half.
Heavy legs and a heavy pitch is a bad combo for a kick chase. Oh, Durham trying to put the squeeze on, and Loughborough just about come away with. That is some pickup off the toes by Charlie Titcombe under pressure. But again, all he can do is hack it downfield. Oh, it's been dropped by Titcombe.
Shame he's caught that one that he should not have caught on a bit of a half volley, and then too much time thinking about what's happening next, and he's dropped that one, unfortunately.
8 minutes to go on our clock. Durham 21, Loughborough 18. It was 18-7 at half time. So Loughborough students yet to score in the second knock. 2 tries for Durham by 2 of the totems of this side that have brought such success in the league. Marin House with the try that brought them back into it. Fred Davis with the score that took them into the lead. Both converted by William Nicholson. He's 3 from 3 off the tee. One conversion has been missed by Titcombe, but he's kicked 2 penalties. And now Durham with the put-in. It is so tense round Hollow Drift. Oh, Durham looking for the penalty here, aren't they? They're keeping the ball in. It starts to move. And it was inevitable, and they've gone quickly. Craven wants to inject some tempo. That's a good tackle on Jack Reed, who has brought sensational energy in the second half into this backline. Jack Reed. Now Hyde, bumps the tackler off. 2-man tackle by Loughborough students. They're inside their own 22. This is exactly where Durham want them. If they can get another try here, make it a 2-score game, surely it's curtains for Loughborough's brave journey north. Oh, Waddle comes flying out of the line. Makes a massive hit, but it's still Durham ball. Coming up to 74 minutes. Another big carry. Now Durham peel round to the left-hand side. Well, Lavin was sniffing around there, but he got driven off the ball. He's been superb in defence, hasn't he, Henry Lavin? Oh, is that high? Referee happy enough to continue. It's a bit lateral for Durham, but still it is ball inside the Loughborough 22. They're not conceding here. They're protecting this lead, and they're looking to add to it. And Loughborough slowing the ball down, but not looking like winning it. Durham so disciplined, just slowly going through the gears as Marin House with another carry. A couple of minutes to go. I'm going to have to ask you for your player of the match at some point, and I know it's going to be a very, very difficult decision.
Not ready.
Murphy, monster carry from the big second row. Takes Durham to 6 metres. A few big forwards just overrun the ball, so they leave it out to the backs. 5 metres short now for Durham. Penalty advantage as well. This is a massive moment in terms of this game, and Jack Reed goes over for the score.
Does what he's been doing since he came on the pitch, just running hard, gets his head down, gets a leg drive on. Difficult to stop when someone's running that hard at pace at your line.
He has been absolutely brilliant, hasn't he? He's given them what they needed in the first half.
Definitely, just giving them a bit more oomph, a bit more direct running. You know, if anyone else is going lateral around him, he's going to put his head down and go straight, and it's made a big impact to the back line.
And just like that, it's a 2-score game.
Unbelievable comeback, isn't it? Player in the bin, half time, bit of a chat, come out, score some tries.
Well, this is the easiest conversion of the lot, but I'd imagine it'll be the one that Nicholson takes the longest over. So whilst we're waiting for this to go over and play to restart, who's impressed you on both sides of the ball today before you give us your man of the match?
I think Ben Fitzgerald on the wing for Loughborough has been, obviously scored that brilliant try in the first half, but I've been watching him defensively. He's on this side closest to us, and he's just making really good reads. A couple of times he looks like they're short on that side, and he's just come in, shut down the play, just come in and made that tackle as well. Perfect. Showing what he can do. So he's got pace, but he's also got some really good rugby understanding out there.
And for Durham?
The boys in the forwards have worked so hard today. I think leading from the front, as you knew that he was going to. Captain Fred there at hooker. I'd love to see his stats after the game, see how many times he's carried.
But next stoppage, I am going to need a player of the match, I'm afraid.
I've also loved the back row. I think they've been brilliant for Durham as well. Just made, someone like Barrett, he has got around the pitch, he's done his work. He said he's not the biggest of boys, and you know, I'm all for, it doesn't matter what size you are, if you're playing well, if you're playing in the back row, you don't need to be one of these 6'8". If you're going to put the hard yards in like he has done, ball carrying and tackling, I think he's been quietly brilliant tonight as well.
Certainly has, but the ball is loose in the 22. Loughborough not giving up yet. They've made a change at scrum half. Ewan Bergwin is on. Actually joined the club as an outside half before making the transition to 9. Couple of minutes to go. Loughborough need a score. They need it now. Rhys Malone is on the ball. Tries to put some footwork on and he's just driven sideways. Loughborough trying to put some width on it. It's a good handoff over there on the far side, but Durham level to it defensively. More than level to it defensively. They win the penalty. And with that, your BUCS Super Rugby semi-final player of the match, please.
Okay, I think he has controlled the game really well. He's obviously had a lot of game time for this team at 9 and has got players around him with a lot of experience and he's linked really well, but he's just mixed up his game. I know some of the kicking that first half probably wasn't ideal, but it was clearly within a game plan. He's had that break on the outside as well. He's used his feet really well. He's distributed and moved the forwards around really well. So it would be Harry Craven for me.
Congratulations, Harry Craven. You are the BUCS Super Rugby semi-final man of the match. And as the clock ticks towards 80, ticks towards 80, I will be heading pitch side to get reaction from the winning coach and the man of the match. So do stick with us as we start to look forward to the BUCS Super Rugby Championship final on the 13th of April at Six Ways Stadium. It is certainly looking like it's going to be first versus second in the league. Durham versus Exeter, and maybe there's icing on the cake here for Durham as Paul Brown steps inside, but there was an advantage being played.
Certainly been an 80 minutes, hasn't it? It's been everything actually. There's been a snowstorm, there's been midfield kicking that has put some miles in the old GPS units that people are wearing, no doubt, and then there's been some really brilliant tries, team tries and individual tries, and a bit of individual brilliance. So this has certainly been what knockout rugby should be. Exciting, could have gone either way, and that you can't hope for any more from a spectator's point of view. I think Loughborough will be pretty disappointed with this second half. They've maybe tired a little bit, and Durham have actually come out in that second half really firing.
Well, it's Durham 28, Loughborough 18. Durham actually going for the sticks here, which makes me think this might be the last kick of the game. Loughborough supporters still in fine voice. They've travelled north, Loughborough, with plenty to be proud of this season, but this kick to put a cherry on top. Oh, it drifts wide, and we will have time to get back underway.
I thought that would be the end of the game on that.
Well, our clock's not quite linked in with the referee's watch. Let's see how quickly this makes its way to the touchline. Well, not yet. So, Rhys Malone. Oh, gets charged down. It's Brown with the charge down. Lovely pickup. Given the conditions, reaching forward for that ball very often. We see those knocked on, but Durham with one last assault on the Loughborough 22. And there is a little dart by the man of the match who gets the offload away. Well done, Harry Craven. Thought he was going to go in for try number 15 of the season for him. So Durham go to the short side. They've got another penalty advantage. They have strangled the life out of Loughborough in this second half. Marin House, another gargantuan 80 minutes for him. And we go back for the penalty. Loughborough not rolling away. Oh, and they must just feel like someone's let the air out of their tyres.
Definitely, it is so hard when you know that you've got 10 points, so it's not just a try. You've got to have 2 scores in there. And now Durham go, oh no, they don't. That's it. I thought they were going for the line out.
Well, Durham have a date with destiny. They've battled back against Loughborough. who for much of this game put on their best performance of the season. 18-7 at half-time becomes 28-18 at full-time, and it will be Durham versus Exeter for all the marbles at Six Ways on the 13th of April. Well, we'll be heading pitch side to get some post-match reaction, but let's talk through the highlights here. I mean, it's dark now, it was light then. If only we knew what was to come when this first try was scored.
I know, we did talk about it actually, that Loughborough had the potential there that they might tire. It's hard defending for such a high percentage of the game. Another bit of brilliance there on the outside.
Superb finish, wasn't it?
Definitely played well, Ben Fitzgerald.
And when this second try went over, then we had the yellow card, which I think we'll see. There are a few people here in Durham and probably watching around the world scratching their heads thinking, hang on, have we got a shock on our hands here?
Yeah, definitely. You know, Durham have been so dominant all season, winning the league, and I think that probably put a bit of a shocker into them as well, and maybe that's what's galvanised them at half-time to come back out and play the rugby that they know that they can.
Then in this second half, as the conditions turned, as the stakes got raised, it was the old campaigners, Marin House, Fred Davis, who dragged Durham back into this game.
Yeah, definitely, and Fred Davis would have been my man in a match and a half as well if we could have had to. I think he's just absolutely worked his butt off today, and you know that's what he's done all season. He's led by example. He's always going to put his head down, carry the rest of the team with him. One more 80 minutes, mate. One more 80 minutes.
Well, this was the score that put them back ahead. And then there was one last try, wasn't there? It was Jack Reed who came on. If it was lateral in the first half with Durham, it certainly wasn't in the second half. He went forward, he gave them front foot ball, and that was the 5-pointer that his performance deserved.
He did, and he came from a fairly static position there, actually, as we're watching it on the replay. He's taken 2 or 3 players with him, so really good, strong leg drive, and the impact that he's made has been fantastic for Durham.
Well, 2 brilliant semi-finals today and 2 season-defining performances from the 2 standout teams. Exeter got past Cardiff Met and Durham have defeated Loughborough by 28 points to 18. We're going to check back in with Pat Bishop now while I head pitch side and try and catch up with a man of the match and a winning coach. Our half-time catch-ups continue just as the snow starts to fall. Patrick, every time I'm here, I have to deal with some kind of inclement weather. It can't be like this all the time.
No, I know, we're lucky today. There's no wind, I think that's the big one. But the snow's coming down at the end of March. It's crazy to think it.
I've spoken like a true outside half. You're not worried about what's coming that way. You're worried about what's going that way. First things first. How's your head? We're having a chat, so that's good news, but you're not out there tonight, so not so good news. How are you feeling?
No, obviously I'd love to be out there, but back on the mend, a few more positive responses and scans, so yeah, really happy. Obviously I've got a great support network around me here, they're really helping me. So hopefully aiming for the 7s at the back end of the season, I think.
Oh, great. Another opportunity to pull the Palatinate jersey on. Let's talk about positives then, and the positives are you were the starting 10 for the BUCS Super Rugby League champions. At the start of this season, forget the team, individually, did you expect that?
Probably not. I think it was a bit of a weird year. We came in, obviously missed my fresher year, so everyone was on very clean slates. So the big thing was just taking my opportunity when it came to me and proving myself, and I sort of always trusted my ability and skill set. So when I was given that opportunity, I think I was really happy that I managed to take it. And just playing in this league has just made me grow from strength to strength, I think. I loved it, the opportunity, the players that I'm around, playing against some of the best players in the country, in probably one of the most competitive leagues. That's something I've really loved. Yeah.
What have been some of the highlights this season then? Any games or any moments that really stick out that you've loved from your, well, debut championship really?
Probably say Exeter at home, winning the last kick of the game against the old foes. Other places, going Cardiff away with a bit of a weakened team, tough place to go, and I think that's one that really stands out, sort of making your own atmosphere. I think that's something the boys will have to do tonight from both teams. Obviously we're not in term time here, so there won't be anyone down watching. So that's another one that really stands out, yeah, and grinding the win out there.
Tell me about this place then, Hollow Drift, Durham City RFC, because to all intents and purposes it's a rugby pitch, there's a small stand, there's a nice clubhouse behind us, and the word fortress is overused in rugby like you wouldn't believe. But you've won 10 out of 10 here this season. You haven't lost here since Loughborough came 861 days ago was the last time Durham lost a home game. What is it about this place?
I think it's just a feel. I mean, I know everyone in the league will say playing at home and putting on your jersey, it takes you to that next level, but I think it really does here at Durham. We've got a great support network around us with the crowd, the students who come out. It's a tough place to come, and it's a tough place to go to other places for us. That extra journey coming all the way up here to the northeast.
So far.
It's cold, it usually rains and that wind coming across, but I think it's just about grinding out the wins. We've got a team of winners and boys who just know how to win. I think that's something that makes it really special. And like you say, those 861 days, the teams that did it before us, just seems to be a common trend that when you come to Durham as an away team, you know you're going to get a hell of a game, yeah.
Tell me about these boys then, this group of players. It's been a really consistent group. You seem like a really tight group who play for one another and when your backs are against the wall, because, you know, you've won all the games at home, but some have been decided by 3 points here, 5 points there. It's certainly not been easy. Who are some of the sort of standout characters and what are the things that really bond you together as a group?
Yeah, I'd say obviously Fred's the one, you know, captain. He's a real leader, great speaker as well. I think that's the way how he leads, obviously with his actions as well. Jacko at 8, he's just such a workhorse. He does a lot of the unseen work. And then our backs, some real quick boys with Paul and Max on the wings. So they probably are some of our danger men as well. It's just something that we have is we've got a great coaching team around us as well. I think there's real player focus. I know everyone in the league will probably say that. But massive player focus about us driving our own standards. Try and stay away from those buzzwords, but that's probably the one for us is our standards and what level we can take ourselves to.
I can't believe I'm looking at you covered in snow and it's April in a couple of days. So your second year, so is that 1 year or 2 years remaining for you?
1 year remaining, yeah.
And what happens then? Because one of the things that always fascinates me about Durham, obviously you've had the recent success of players kicking on, so Fitz going great guns and Fred's going to Bristol, but some other players who I thought would be destined. Durham 28, Loughborough 18. I told you I'd catch up with a winning head coach and a man of the match. Let's talk about games of two halves, shall we? Is that one of the best 40 minutes we've seen from your team this year?
It'd be up there. It was very controlled. They worked out what was not working, which is really important for any side, and then implemented a change to it. But I've got to be honest, I thought Loughborough were outstanding.
Yeah, first half in particular. When that second try went over, there were a few people scratching their heads thinking, oh crikey, we might have an upset on our hands here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're a good team. They're very well organised, very well drilled defensively. They were hard to break down. And I think the good thing is we're on the back of so many wins that we actually didn't panic, and that was good.
It's the old campaigners that got you back into the game. You talked about Fred being a different gravy, but it was in fact just behind where we're stood here when Marin House scored the try that brought you right back into it. Players like that have been totemic for you. I mean, they're coming to the end of their time here, but you've been able to build the success of this programme on boys like that, haven't you? Yeah,
but I think that's natural. There's an evolution in university rugby, and you know, what is your first year now will be a third or fourth year in 3 years' time, and then they'll become the senior player, like as Marin and Jack Hill and Fred are, and you'll end up with that sort of performance.
One more game, Exeter next.
One more game. Doesn't stop this season, does it? One more game. Looking forward to it. It's great. It's a day out, isn't it? It's a final. We'll just go and give it our best shot.
And you're going to win it?
I said we'll go and give it our best shot.
Let's talk about Exeter then, because you have had two screaming good matches with them this year.
We were robbed down there. No. Keith wouldn't agree with that, I'm sure. But no, it's two good sides going to play each other. It'll be a cracking game. A real good advert for BSR, and so I'm excited about it. I'm pleased for the boys. It gives them a show day, which maybe the league doesn't do, if that makes sense. But it's just another good day out. So
we're going to talk to the man of the match, Harry, shortly, who is covered head to toe in hollow drift mud. He was given it today, but it could have been any one of your boys out there, couldn't it?
Yeah, as you said, you know, Marion, Jack, Braden, they all played well. Sol, Jack Reed came on a really good game. So lots of guys. I couldn't pick a guy today. If you're going to give it Craven, he's always. I think he must smile nicely. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, we'll find that out when we get him on the camera. I will take that off you. Shake your hand. Great to have a chat. Congratulations. Harry, man of the match. You've done this plenty of times, so you know what to do. Keezy says you smile nicely. That's why you win the awards like this. But I think you get him because time after time you put in 80 great minutes and drive your team forward. You've got half the pitch covered in it, and that was some effort from you today and the boys. What a victory.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was pretty good, yeah.
What was said at half time? Because we've watched you a lot this season. We've seen you come through tight squeezes, but very rarely have we seen you go in at half time more than a score behind. Loughborough was superb. You were off the boil. How did you turn it round?
I think we always keep our cool. Going there, I think we went a bit off process in the first half, so we kind of sat down. We usually split backs forwards, just get back to what we usually do. I think we were a bit off in that first half, so yeah, we talked what process we need to get back to, and then yeah, came out and did it.
Interestingly, at full time the celebrations were quite mooted, whereas you won the league, you went crazy.
Yeah.
Today was a big win. It felt like a big win. It was a great performance. Why the calmness when the whistle went?
I think we always backed ourselves today. I mean, credit to Loughborough, they gave us a good game. But yeah, hopefully we're just on to the final now.
One more win?
Yeah.
Okay, what happens now? What happens tonight? What happens in the build-up? And how do you look forward to April the 13th?
I think we're probably going to have a bit of a rest next week. Chill, some lads will go home. And then the week after we'll get straight back to it.
Well, congratulations tonight. You're man of the match. Go get a shower, celebrate it, enjoy it. One more game. And that is it. One more game between now and the end of the season. Durham and Exeter have that date with destiny. It is the biggest day in student rugby. It is Edinburgh versus Hartpury in the Women's Championship. It is Exeter versus Durham, first v second in the league for all of the marbles. The best league in the land comes to an end at Six Ways on April the 13th. I'll be there. I hope that you will too. Goodbye.